So we have one more multi-part example to work through in this section on the binomial distribution. And at the end of the last video, I recommended that you try coming up with the answers yourself before I give them to you. So if you haven't done that and you still want to, pause the video right now and then unpause it and I'll give you the answers. 70% of all Americans like statistics. I just made that up, but pretend for the sake of the problem that it's true. So that means if you just randomly select anybody out of all Americans, the probability of that person liking statistics is 70%, or 0.70. In a randomly selected group of 12 people, just selected from all Americans, what's the probability that exactly 5 of them like statistics? Aha, that's one of those binomial probability kinds of questions, because it's asking about the probability of something happening 5 times out of 12 times that it could happen. There's 12 trials, 12 people, and each one of them might or might not like statistics. So when you count how many of them like statistics, it could be anywhere from 0 to 12. We want to know what's the probability that it turns out to be 5. So 12 is the number of trials, N. 70% or 0.7 is the probability of success on each trial, that's P. And 5 is the number of successes, the X. So if you go to the table, look it up, it's 0.029. Instead of using the table, you could also use the formula, the graphing calculator function, or any of the other methods that we talked about. The probability that exactly 10 of the people out of those 12 like statistics, can you see where that is on the table? It's 0.168. The probability that exactly 2 like statistics, well, I'm going to put down 0. It's not exactly 0, but it's so close that 2-3 places after the decimal point, it's 0. What's the mean number who likes statistics? Remember how you find the mean with a binomial distribution? You just take N times P. So 12 times 0.70 is 8.4. In your average group of 12 people, 70% of them, and then 70% of 12 is 8.4, that's the average or mean number in a group of 12 who would be the ones who like statistics. And for the standard deviation, remember that's the square root of N times P times Q. So, N was 12, P was 0.7, and Q was, well, it would be 1 minus 0.7, so 0.3. So for the standard deviation, we want the square root of N, which is 12, times P, which is 0.7, times Q, which is 0.3. And it's 1.58745 and so on. And I rounded that to approximately 1.59.